Buddy, how are you doing? It says we're live. I'll turn down ELO. God, yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, those of us who came in at that time, boy, we had some good music. Think about it. For thousands of years, the only thing you got to hear was what the cat was doing, in your local village, and hopefully it was on cue, as they would say, and in tune. But man, we get to listen to all the really good music. I mean, our time, we did bring in the great sounds, and I'm turning down everything here so I can hear you and you can hear me. And I'm not doing time traveling while the two of us are talking. Greetings, everyone. Bosto to one and all. Favor and happy birthday. If this is your day that you made it another time, I thought yesterday's conversation, and we're going to have to get into it deeper about time. Yeah, I mean, it's completely illusionary. And it goes to show what happens when you really believe in something. It dictates your life, at least what you perceive to be life. But today, which pill are we going to take? Are we going to take the red pill and see where the rabbit hole really leads? Or are we going to take the blue pill and continue down the road of being, satisfied? That's the problem with satisfaction, is that you can become lackadaisical and yeah. So anyway, time, strange construct. And the minute you step off this planet, and I showed you yesterday how even you can be on this planet and still be sharing different time. Someone wrote, and I believe it was spot on, that when you look at the occult, time is the occult. If you really want to put it in a proper perspective, when you want to talk about occult, hidden knowledge, and the biggest mind coitus of all time is time. And we made it rhyme, so you know that I am right on time. So anyway, hello everybody. I want to say hi to Milky Way's mom, Brenda. How are you doing? Had the most strongest impression that with Mr. Brian. He's apparently having a good time. So Brenda, hello, my dear. We all love you and we consider you a part of this tribe, and just want to let you know that. So there. Um, let's see. Hey, T-Fetch, how you doing? Outstanding. Outstanding. Well, I tell you, gotten some great emails. Got an email from a lady who's writing a children's book and has incorporated Bosto. How freaking cool is that? Bosto. Yeah. So into a children's book. Spot on. Right arm, however it is. Yeah. So far out. That's all I got to say. Hello, Marsha Price. How are you doing, my dear? I tell you, Marsha's got beautiful jewelry. And those rods are just outstanding. Hello, Nina the Mystic and Get Money Jones. Hello, David Castle. Greetings, sir. Twisted Isby Isla. Good to see you. Carol, hello, beloved Abstract. David Barry. Hello, Kent Cook. Got to get you on here, brother. We'll have a great conversation. Michelle, Susie Q, Maverick George. How are you doing? Know Thyself. How are you? Spirit Girl from San Francisco. Deborah. Man, there's a lot of people here. 7P, how you doing as well? So, we're going to have Lotus on. It was just, there was some confusion and may have been on my part. I have found in my lifetime that I am indeed, so often I have been wrong, but those wrongs are what taught me that I was right. Strange. Hello there, Big Al. Good to see you. And hello to your partner, David Perry, right there. Bernadette, good to see you, my dear. Elaine, good to see you as well. So, time. All right. I want to get right to it. By the way, there were two cards. Yesterday's card was this. Trina and I something happened yesterday. When we started getting into the aspect of time, and that time is a God. Apparently, the all-powerful God, where this planet is concerned, it's above every God that's here. For every God that's here makes its plans according to the God of time. All prophecies. Most people today, the sleepers, the normies, are buying into this as Armageddon. We're coming into the tribulation. They have been primed for it. They have been programmed for it. But the program can't work unless you have a time. All software, by the way, works on a time. Did you know that? Yeah, literally. So that would bring me any of your gods, the Bible, the Quran, the Hindu, I mean, all of them. All of them will bow down before time. Otherwise, they would then not need time, right? Because their kingdoms are all kingdoms based upon eternities. That's time. So what if we could become conscious that where time, space doesn't affect us? Yes, I know we're in the constraints of the laws of this realm. I get that. But we are not just merely bodies. We're complex creations. And within us all, there is a life force that supersedes the dense matter, what we call the third dimension of these bodies. Although I have to really say, when you got things going with the body, I mean, it's a groovy thing. So anyway, I digressed. It's something we're going to get there. And listen, if any of you deep thinkers would like to come on and have a deep thinking session on time, let me know, because it's an interesting thing. I was meditating. I'm reading a couple of books, and whoa, anti-time, non-time, time, linear time, dimensional time. Wow. The whole universe itself rotates in time. Would time then been the original thought? Cheers, everybody. Have a sip of your libation, whatever it may be. Zen, then come on. Just, bring it on. Let's have a good discussion, because if time is the omnipotent, omnipresent, then that would make it omnipotent above all other things. And the thing that I'm asking this enlightened group is consciousness tied to time? Can consciousness truly exist outside of time? Now, that's an interesting question. We would all assume yes, but you know what they say about assume? All it ends up doing is making an ass out of you and me both. So, consciously aware, I'm good. How are you, my friend? Deep, deep stuff. I mean, and then you think about this whole aspect of anti-time. I'm doing some searches on some academic papers on anti-time. You don't hear much about anti-time, but it has to exist. The laws of The Kabbalion Hermetics teaches us in the 7 principles that it would seem to be that if time exists, then anti-time would also exist. So would that mean a life force would be incarnated old and birth out young, leaving? I don't know. That's an interesting thought. Let's see. Illuminati says maybe subconscious is what exists outside of time and conscious. Yeah, but and that's a very interesting thing. And that means then we have the ability within these avatars, we're already multidimensional. If we can perceive time, for instance, sleep. Now, when we sleep, yes, our bodies are keeping time, but our consciousness is not. It is said that the superconscious is aware all the time. But is that actually correct? Would it not be more correct to say the conscious is? And so when we sleep, if we're not conscious of time, does time really exist? I don't know. If no one's in the forest and a tree falls, does anyone hear it? Do you know what the correct answer to that is? How many of you know the correct answer to that? I'll just give you a little hint. So the question always is, well, if a tree falls, there's no one in the forest, would anyone hear it? The correct answer is no. The tree falls, it produces what we would call sound waves, vibrations. And if that vibration isn't received by an observer, then the event really didn't ever happen. I can see the effect. The tree fell. I can get that. But if there was no one there, did it make a sound? Interesting, eh? Deborah says, well, could be awareness, yeah. Know thyself says, what are the past memories if not time? That would be correct. It seems like all of a sudden all the electronics are going off. Weird sound. Did y'all hear that? They know we're getting into some deep stuff. So let's get into this today. Two things going on here. The law of attraction, number one. It is a law. And if the law is a law, it means then if I apply anything to that law, I will have a certain predictable outcome. That's what makes it a law. It doesn't deviate, right? So I want this group to begin to do things that we should be doing. This is a great time for us to have been socially together. Most of us know each other. You've seen many of the people who are active here. I'd love to see all of you on here, but there's enough now. Go over to the Crystal Network. Make sure that you post your picture there. And David Berry, I'd like to get this onto Discord as well. I believe it's time for us to grow up. It's time for us to graduate. Now, I've been searching and scouring through YouTube, looking for other things that what we're about to do, I haven't found anything. I've seen the group meditations, and those are fine. I mean, they have a purpose and they do have an impact. But I think that we are ready to get our graduation, our diploma. I think we are. So today we're going to be on two subjects, but the first one I want to address is the second part of what the title of this was, the experiment. Now, hey, Crystal, how are you doing, my dear? So good to see you. Loretta and Lady Ellie, good to see you. I'm excited about this. I believe that there are some very unique spirit beings amongst us. I mean, I think very unique. Um, you know me, I'm always reading. My wife said, she said, I married a man whose addiction is reading. And she says, how interesting is that? And I said, well, honey, the conversation is always lively. Um, I'm reading this book right now. It's very interesting. It's called Voyages into the Unknown. Um, Interesting construct. This guy, how he writes and what he says all of us can do. All of us have the ability to cross over, literally. We can cross over to the death realm, or what we call the death realm. Now, he is trained, and I'll talk more about it with the institute that he's with. They are, the way I would say it, they're almost guardians, sentinels. He talks about that, remember the Oklahoma City bombing, 1995? And he had already begun training of going in the in-between zone between the living and the dead and helping those who just recently passed to be introduced to the reception center's helpers. And he gives his story that he was in it was a Bennigan's. I've eaten there many times. Remember when Bennigan's was around? And the Morrow building had just blown up. Now he was sitting at the bar having dinner and immediately was in the in-between realm. He said the first beings that he met, because he didn't know what to do, and there was he called it the coach. It lives over there, but it says just start helping. So he immediately was in the darkness. The first thing he came up on were two babies. Remember, there was a nursery in that building. And so he grabbed the two babies, not really knowing what to do. Now, everyone who dies, when we die, there is an energy around us. If you die in fear, that energy makes it very hard for the helpers and guides to help you. But anyway, he grabbed the two babies and immediately started to go to the reception center. That's what they call it, the reception hall. In his case, he was in section 107, I believe, with the two infants. And when he got there in the reception hall, the center, there were beings, spirit beings, light beings, there to receive the two babies and help them into that transition. And as he continues to talk, he's sitting there, and he says, half eating. And have you ever seen that? It's happened to me. There's times where I just get off. I'm not here anymore. You're in a daze. We call it a daydream. Sometimes call it, it's actually, folks, it's actually a form of astral projecting. But anyway, I digress. So as he went back, he began to meet other people that had been victims of that bombing. And apparently, we all can do this, but that you have to really be trained, because every time you meet another soul force, life force that has just died, that is in that transition, there's an energy and it can brush off on you. Well, he's helping save, and I won't get through the whole thing, many people, and he finally is just exhausted. And then there's two, what he calls helpers, and they are light beings. They're the ones who greet the recently deceased. And he tells the story, tell you how real this is, folks. I'm leading somewhere here. That he said he became aware he's still sitting at Bennigan's and he's half drinking his beer and his dinner, and he says he's almost too tired to even chew. But then he's drawn back to this tragedy. When these tragedies happen, there's this huge psychic bomb that goes off. It disturbs all dimensions. Singleness of tragedies on other realms have affected Earth, vice versa. In this case, of the 100+ people that died, he said he went back and then the darkness suddenly became, it was a debris field where the building had cratered. And as he's making his way, and at first it was a barrier to him, and and you have to have the mental discipline. If you don't see it, it doesn't exist. And then he was able to walk right through the concrete and the steel beams, and he came upon a woman. Now she's dead. She doesn't know she's dead. And he had to stop because she was screaming. And he really had to think about, well, what do I do here? And then the helper said, well, you've got to talk to her and get her to focus. So he went up to her and tried to start talking to her. And he basically told her, he said, ma'am, you're dead. No, I'm not. She kept saying, I'm not dead. I can't move. My legs are pinned. It's interesting. Her consciousness was still so active in the sudden death that she encountered by this explosion. And he finally had to get her to focus. And then he put a bubble around her and him. And suddenly the concrete wall was no longer on her legs. And she was able to literally float up. And when she was able to do that, the two light beings, the two helpers, came and took over. So anyway, kind of interesting, isn't it? So it begins to bring into focus, are we able to create reality? And I am looking for a dedicated group who believe, yes. I don't want any doubters. I don't want any fence walkers. But if you really do believe that we can create realities, then we're going to go for an experiment that the whole world can watch. I believe we collectively, this soul tribe, we can do this. And the only way that we can eliminate all doubt is to do it publicly. So let's first talk about the experiment. If you're this one, and I'm going to show you what the experiment is. And if you are wanting to participate, just email me. It's very easy to do. My email's everywhere. It's right down in the description box. And say yes. And this is going to be a 5-day experiment. We're going to change reality. Are you ready? And we're going to be able to document it publicly. And we're going to find out if this is all BS or if this is real. I believe it's time for us to walk the walk and stop talking the talk. So we're going to walk the talk, and we're going to find out, are we creatures? Are we creators? Are we of such consciousness that we can, in fact, impact reality? So how are we going to do this? Follow with me, please, as we go into the experiment. I present to everyone watching the first experiment, I believe, of this kind. And if I'm wrong, I would love to see the results. But nonetheless, it is our first experiment. So that in itself makes it a first. And I really do believe the gods, the spirits are talking to us. Creative energies are flowing unlike, and it's all around. All right, so let's go. This experiment is to change the current reality. Now, that's a broad term. It's ambiguous. Reality. What is reality? Well, there's billions of realities in reality. Cheers. Oh man, that's good. But we're going to focus in creating our own reality superimposed upon an already existing reality. Does that sound like fun? Let me say that again. We are going to change the current reality by creating our own reality and superimpose it upon this current reality. Following me? Stay on the trail, stay focused here. It's very important. So collectively, we're going to do this. And if you're really dedicated to this, this is going to be fun. It'll be something that you can talk about for years to come, because I believe once we successfully do this, ooh, baby, I got plans for us on an individual basis, collectively. Altering, creating, imposing our own collective reality upon this reality. So how are we going to do this? I believe as well, we're going to have spirit beings with us. Each one of you have your own posse. I got mine. They're a wild bunch. Whew. Talk about some partiers. Man, deep thinkers. Anyway, you got yours, and they all dig us. I mean, they're in rhyme with us. They're in rhythm. How many of you been in a band? You know, you can play lead guitar, you can play rhythm guitar, you know. So, experiment 1, we are going to change the weather. Not on a global, get back, I already hear the thoughts. Changing the weather. Now, the old idiom, how do you eat the elephant? One bite at a time. So we're going to take small steps here. We're going to focus in on my hometown, Denver, Colorado. All right. We have Soul Tribe members around the globe here, folks. Every continent we are represented by. Okay. So this is Colorado. It's a square. Yeah. And X marks the spot, right? Denver, Colorado. Get that firmly imprinted in your mind. Those of you who are on board. And tomorrow I'll know exactly who is all on board, and then we'll actually start the clock, so to speak. Right now, it's an introduction to what we're going to do here. So we're going to change the weather in Denver, Colorado. All over the world, you can take part in doing this, and I do believe we will, in fact, change the weather. Now, in Denver, Colorado, our whole state is in a drought. In the Denver area, the Front Range is what they call it here, we're in what they call a moderate drought. We're about 3.85 inches, I think, below normal. It's dry, folks. So we're going to change that. I believe by putting our collective energies together, focusing and changing reality, that we can change this reality over the Denver Front Range area. And how we're going to do this is that we're going to be thinking rain. And I just don't mean a shower. No, I mean a downpour. Something that will make the news, particularly locally, but something that we can measure by our effectiveness. And this is the only way we can scientifically, spiritually, consciously do this with integrity. So I want you to think Denver, Colorado, heavy rain. I want you to think it. I want you to see it. I want you to talk it. Rain, heavy rain, Denver, Colorado. It's easy. Throughout your day, if you're doing chores, washing the dishes, taking a shower, a bath, whatever it is, I want you to start thinking rain, heavy rain, Denver, Colorado. Not hard, is it? Pretty simple. Denver, Colorado. Remember that. Rain, heavy rain, rain. And here it is. You can visualize it and visualize an X if you have to. But start visualizing. And when I get the number, because I don't want to do this haphazardly, I want to have a solid number. So you're going to need to email me. And I need someone, David Berry, if someone would get and coordinate this. I like to get this over on Discord as well. But we're going to definitively prove, at least to ourselves, that we can create a reality. Rain. Rain. Heavy rain. Heavy rain. All right? Kind of cool, huh? And how we'll do this is we will, once we start the clock, because we're going to really get our timing on this, we're going to show that how effective we can be in creating conscious thought. Deborah, fine. I love it. Love it. Many of them I'm reading in the chat room. Excellent. Excellent. This is going to be an around the world experiment. And when I get the names of everybody, I'll put it over into an Excel spreadsheet. And that way we know. And then we'll start the clock. And you just start thinking it all the time. I mean, we do it all the time. We're in creative mode all the time. So whether you, like I said, doing the dishes, even in your time of meditation, just think heavy rain, Denver, Colorado. Now, I believe we can do this within a 5-day period of time. That might be a little short. We'll see. But we're going to be able to measure it, folks. And when we start doing it in Denver, and I believe we are going to be successful at it, we're going to choose your city. We want to do something that can be noticeable. For instance, let's say you live in China or Japan or India. You're getting swamped. I think once we successfully get this one behind us, we're going to start marching and we're going to start affecting weather. Oh, this is going to put us on the map. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can see this now, Steiger. Check your cell phone, right? Oh, mercy. So I believe we're going to do this. So what is the forecast for Denver? I can tell you the forecast for Denver, just go to the Oracle, type it in. It's for hot and not much rain. Now, what I'm talking about, we all know. It won't be a 20% chance. It won't be a 30% chance. It's going to be 100%. And it's going to be the type of rain that the meteorologists are going to go, don't ask us. It's 2020. What do we know? So let's, we're going to be methodical about this. So we'll start taking it in those increments. We'll find out what our numbers are. That's very important. And I think that we could probably have a good representation, double digits. It'd be nice. And to think that the empaths, the intuits, the psychics, all of us, the wizards, the witches, sorceresses, priests, priestesses, we start focusing in on this. And once we do it, folks, that's when people start paying attention. Once we get good at the elements, then we're going to start focusing individually. And that gets me into our next subject. Law of attraction. Some time ago, I did a presentation, a teaching session on the law of attraction. And this, oh, by the way, does anyone want to know what the card is today? Well, I'll tell you. It is the star, green, 5, whatever you have in those things. So, law of attraction, as I wrote at the beginning of this, when I posted this to go live, look around your life right now. Look around it. I seek knowledge, and I got freaking books everywhere. My wife tells me that, it just continues to grow. Why? Well, that's where my intent, my focus is. But look around your life, and what you see represented is exactly what you have attracted to yourself. Now, the question is, if you don't like it, then why are you attracting it? It's personal responsibility. Each of us, to become a god, must take personal responsibility for our thoughts, because our thoughts are, in fact, creating that which we have attracted in our lives. Albert Einstein said, everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. It can be done no other way. This is not philosophy. This is physics. We will make it rain torrentially. Now, when we get it, I think many of it, because the thought is going to go out to you that we're going to see this, and I believe it's going to be something to see how it manifests. But here it is. The guy who built, us the whole mathematical equation of what reality is, E equals MC squared, right? That's reality. Albert baby says, don't you be so quick. Yeah. I'm serious. Physics. Fear does not prevent death, it prevents life. This is the energy. We got to eviscerate it. Just get it out. All right. We've talked about this before, but I don't know about you, but as I remember going through school, and even as I went up through the trades, you just don't do a lesson one time because you're going to forget about 80% of it. It's only when it is repeatedly put into you that you really do begin to, number one, believe it, and two, act upon it. So you have 70,000 thoughts per day. 70 freaking thousand thoughts per day. What the freak are you doing with them? I mean, come on. So let's say you're just a real newbie at this. So let's say you're wasting 70% of your potential, right? That means 21,000 thoughts, or what? How are they manifesting? It gets kind of weird when you really begin to see it. The conscious mind controls, as we've said many times, only 5%. It's not that this is the misunderstanding. I hear it said all the time. Well, humans only use 10% of their brain. That's wrong. You use 100% of your brain. It's the capacity of its ability that we're all limited on. It's amazing when you stop to think about it. Another interesting fact is this. So that means your subconscious mind, by the way, is always on, never off. Then you got the superconscious, and they go on for there. And how about this? The number 6666, huh? Well, 66.666667% of your brain is fat. You ever heard the expression, you fathead? It's literally true. Now, here's the thing, though, folks. In our day and age, the chemicals, the pharmaceuticals, all of the coals, what we can get in here, been jacking with most people's brains. This is where you really need to be that intuitive understanding what consciousness means, giving thanks to your consciousness. Open yourself up to communication with the spirit realm. Because you have an opportunity here in order to perfect something you won't be able to quite easily do over in the spirit realm. There is a chemical reaction between these neurons and how it adds to you. See, Trina has said this. We're in Harvard here, folks. I'm becoming more convinced that for some of us, this is an accelerated course. We accomplish exponentially more than others. And it's because of, you can call it genetics, you can call it favoritism, you can call it whatever it is. Because we're going to take this over. Now, if all you ever do is just sit your ass down and watch TV, eat potato chips, play video games, and that's it, well, you got some real answering to do on the other side. You wasted an opportunity that you may never get again. You may incarnate again, but you don't know if this was the time for you to truly expand. We adapts. There's other terms for us. We recognize one another because we listen to music. Music, and I started out very, very young, in tune to music. Became really good at playing 3 different instruments. It's what marks us. Writers, painters, sculptors. They are the true wizards, the true witches. Finally, we have to realize that our thoughts are real. As it says right here, your thoughts cause biological and physiological effect. Your body responds to mental input as if it were physically real. How do we know this? Well, virtual reality tells us that this is 100% true. There's other experiments that we can talk about. The point is, we create. And we create and draw that which is in our lives. Negative thoughts, behaviors, and beliefs have no place in your world of gratitude. How can you be grateful and at the same time have negative thoughts? To use an expression in colloquialism of the New Testament, you're of a double mind. And in the book of James, it says a person who's double-minded, do not let that person think that they will receive anything good of the Lord. You're double-minded in all your ways. You are a self-walking, self-annihilation thought machine, because you annihilate everything that you think you're doing good. You just blow it out, because you come back with, well, I don't know if I'm going to have enough money, I don't know if I can get that there because, yeah. The same applies to people that sabotage your happiness. Listen, you want to make people envious and jealous of you? You start prospering with nothing more than this, and what we will begin to do, they'll either love you or they're going to hate you. So you have people who sabotage your happiness. There are others, ways of causing you emotional, damaging. I actually call it a distraction. If I can keep you distracted, you're never going to focus on anything. And I love the fact that your focused has now been fractured. And typically, fractured focuses only bring in despair, chaos, and confusion. Reduce your exposure to negative messaging, and you will greatly broaden your optimistic view. The first thing you're going to have to do is put down your cell phone, baby. This is probably one of the few places it's doing you good, but you do your individual research, but we know what we mean. Why do you have a streaming service? Why does anyone need a streaming service? These are black boxes. They are black mirrors. They have taken over the collective soul of humanity. Research after research is now showing humans are losing the ability to remember. What most people don't understand, it's that it's the iceberg below that's going to sink the ship. It's not the one on top. Those are easy things to identify. It's the ones that go deep into the core. They're frozen solid. The warmth of a warm heart does not melt it away. And because cold burns emotionally, physically, mentally, the vast majority will not touch it. They'll insulate it. Can be the most loving person, but yet they have the most negative impact around them. Why is that? Because we've been trained wrong. Definition of attracting: to cause, to approach, or adhere, such as A, to pull to or draw towards oneself, or itself a magnet attracts iron. Lucky Stone wrote me an email. Lucky I'm get back to you on that. So you are the magnet. B, to draw by appeal to natural or excited interest, emotion, or aesthetic sense. Entice. Back in the day, when disco was all the rage, and yes, I was a part of that. It was pretty cool. I enjoyed it. I love dancing and disco. Are you kidding me? Bell bottoms, baby. Bell bottoms. And I'm talking that where everybody is 6'3". You know what I mean? You can wear the platform shoes. But anyway, I digress. There was something I learned in my youth about women and how to attract women. Lessons, folks, lessons. And many ladies know exactly what I'm talking because women are endowed with this. It's probably one of the most, how shall we say, evidence of laws of attraction. And when you think about the word attract, well, appeal, bring, captivate, draw, engage, entice, fascinate, interest, intrigue, invite, kill. There's one. Send, allure, bait, beckon, beguile. There's a word. Beguiled. Yeah. Bewitch, charm, court, drag, enchant. Look at this. So many words in occultism here. Endure, enthrall, entrance, grab, hook, induce, lure, magnetize, pull, again, score, reduce. And look at what the opposite is. So antonyms for attracting is bore, disenchanted. You ever taken apart the word disenchanted? If you're enchanted, it usually means you're happy. You're in a state of joy. Disgust, vile, disinterested, give up, refuse, reject, repel, shun, repulse, turn off, deter, discourage. You know, it's one thing to praise and to encourage, to edify, to build up. But if a person is casting a spell, and this is what they do when you have people who, what we call gossip, backbite, and they talk bad about a person, it's casting a spell. And that spell is to divide, discourage you, to separate you from your courage, dissuade, let go, to prevent, release, When you begin to understand how it works, it becomes very easy to take a self-inventory. What's going on here? Folks, you can attract money. It's just that most people think that's impossible. Well, Wayne, I don't have a job. Doesn't matter. What? Are you telling me that the universe is limited by the fact of what your employment status is? Seriously? And you can see where the repulsion comes in. Now you can say, oh, no. I am a very positive person. Well, how far does the iceberg go down, baby? The secret law of attraction. It gets complicated, but you have to do the self-inventory. There are people who will naturally attract one thing in their lives. I used to sew business suits, and I'm not talking cheap ones. If I found a young preacher, young evangelist, a young entrepreneur, I would buy them suits. I got a closet full of them. They keep coming back. We give away food. We'll never go hungry. Never. We do the same thing where finances are concerned. It happens. These are symbols you can incorporate into your sigil magic. Symbols of attraction. Now you can imbue the power as to what that will mean. Gratitude. It shields you from negativity, makes you at least 25% happier, rewires your brain, eliminates stress, heals your body, improves your sleep, boosts your self-esteem and performance, enhances the law of attraction into your life, and improves relationships across the board. An attitude of gratitude. It's complicated, I know, but this is what it is. So if it's attracting into your life, there is a specific reason for it. The law of expectation is a whole nother subject. The law of reflection, the law of transformation, the law of attraction. All of these have to be in sync in order for all of this to work. And I didn't even get to the part where I was going to be reading. Well, that's cool because, that's the way it needed to be. But seriously, folks, our experiment is going to work. I know it is. We'll learn. We'll get better at it. Then we become a real challenge to others. But yeah, we're going to do this. And we're going to have a public record for it. Here it is, July 15th, 2020, across the board. So let me know. Well, Ethereal Waves, that's very kind of you. We're glad you're here as well. Hello, Maria Rose. Hello, Julianne. Good to see you, my love. Pamela Jean, I'm grateful for gasoline. See? Yeah. Now that is good. There's so much to be thankful for. There really is. And when you allow the Creator to start speaking through you, you're in for some real treats. When's the last time the Creator sung to you? I ask you, yes. All right, groovy folks. Thank you, David Barry. Yeah, let's do this. So think rain, Denver, Colorado. Tomorrow we'll do this. I think this is a good way to prime the pump. And once we turn the gasoline on and put the spark to it. I expected this engine, it's like a 12-cylinder, the old days when they made the Jaguars. A 12-cylinder car just had that. Anyway, it's going to be powerful, folks. I'm just telling you. Uh, thank y'all. Well, great, Red Honey. Thank you. Look forward to it. Y'all are the best. We are creators, folks. We're going to do this collectively. Now, project out. Once we become convinced, and I know that sometimes it takes, people are from Missouri. They're the show me state, Well, by God, show me and I'll believe it. Okay, well, we're going to do that for you. And when those that begin to see, when they begin to believe it, then when we start off in projects, elevating individuals, wow. And as we elevate individuals, we're elevating collectively, changing realities. And the key to this, folks, is remember this. It's superimposing our reality on theirs. That's how it's done. That's magic. That's one of the keys of becoming a wizard. Okay. I'll see you later. Friday, Sue G is going to be on. Tomorrow we'll pick right up because we got a lot of work to be done. Yeah. All right. Much love to all of you. You're beautiful, beautiful light beings, every one of you. And an honor and a privilege to be known among you. So thank you. And we will see. Who am I to be a wizard? Well, a wizard's not a negative thing. A wizard's a good thing, All of us are in our own special way. It's no different than saying a creator. Isn't that what an alchemist does as well? All right. Ciao, folks.